Transformers more than meets the eyes. This is Chucky from Collecting for Fun, and today we got an awesome review here for you guys. This is a really cool toy. It combines the passions that I have for Transformers and Lego perfectly. This, my friends, is the Soundwave Transformer Lego set. This set here is set 10358. It has 1,505 pieces, and this is a great transforming toy. In the past, we have had released already. We've had Optimus Prime, which is their first go at it, and then we got Bumblebee last year, and now we have Soundwave. You can see the transformations have stuck fairly closely, not exactly, but fairly closely to the original, and that's some other pictures from the box, and you can see that the cassettes, which we will transform, go right into Soundwave like they did in the original toy. So let's have a look at Soundwave right now. So here we are. We have Soundwave comes with two cassettes. We have the Ravage cassette and we have Laserbeak, which you can see Laserbeak right on his arm there. So let's go ahead and show you the cassettes first because those are really cool. By the way, it does come with this little display case, display stand, I should say, and it actually comes with a buildable cassette player of Soundwave right there. And you can see inside the sticker plate shows Ravage inside. It's a black cassette. You do have the option of putting the red one on, which will show Laserbeak as well. So you can certainly change the facing of this easily enough. You just pop this thing on and pop the other one on there, and there you go. Okay, so I prefer the Ravage one, so I'm going to leave this one on here. But just so you know, you have the option there, and you can see the specifications. You can see strength 8, intelligence 9, speed 2, endurance 6, rank 8, courage 5, firepower 6, and skill 10. And the function of Soundwave obviously is communications, and Soundwave is superior. And this is one great transformer toy. So this one comes with 3 transformers. Obviously, there's Soundwave, and then there's the cassettes. So Laserbeak here, I had his legs up to put him on his arm, but the Laserbeak transforms pretty much exactly how the original toy transformed. So it has the cannons on top, so these do come off, okay? And then, oops, that looks like it took off. It took off this part here, so we're gonna pull that off. Oh, where did that go now? Here it is. So just have to be careful. It is Lego, so parts can come off. So there we go. So that's how Laserbeak looks without these cannons on top. And the cannons look pretty much like the original toy. I'm going to bring out the original toy in a second, or at least a reproduction of the original toy. So the feet and like the head basically just folds back, okay? And then these fold in and the legs kind of fold. Oops, I think the legs go in first and then these arms fold in there, okay? So that is, my friends, the actual build of the cassette. And when we're looking at the original facsimile of the toy, let's go back. This is a very straightforward transformer to do, so we can do that quickly enough. So we have these parts that come on, and when we're comparing it to the actual original toy, this is a Walmart reissue. You know, they have these parts that come off. It's very similar. Okay, that's how the original looks here, and that's the how the Lego one comes in. Almost the same. I mean, obviously the cans are a little bit longer here, but more or less, you know, pretty good. Okay, and then so it comes with 2 of these. And when we look at the actual cassette part, I mean, when we're looking at this part, it looks very similar, and it transforms exactly the same. So the legs you can flip up here. Sorry, let me bring these wings down. This is a little bit stiff because I don't transform it too often. And then these legs come up. And so the same thing here. These arms go in, the legs come up. So that part is pretty much exactly the same. And then the difference here is the head flips up here, whereas this one you put the head down and you shove it back in. So that's mainly the main difference between these 2 cassettes here. But otherwise, more or less the same. So I'm glad they used those components to kind of keep everything similar. Now, the cool part is Soundwave can pop that open. You just push that button and the cassette thing pops open. And you can pop the cassette right inside there and it closes right in there. Beautiful, isn't it? That is just so cool that it actually fits in there. And so just like the original Soundwave here, we pop this thing open and we can pop the cassette in there as well. I don't know if that would be, yep, pop that in as well. Sorry, I'm trying to do this at a weird angle. It's not quite lining up here. Did I have it upside down? Yeah, that's what it was. I was upside down. But yeah, basically very, very similar in how that happens, okay? And you can see the weapons are pretty much the same. We get a little bit lighter blue here and darker blue on there. And I think that's because, well, I'm not sure why that is. But anyways, they chose a dark brick color. I have no problem with that. If we're looking at the more recently released legacy version of Soundwave, which is not the same as Studio, but um, again, the cassette part, a little bit different color. The legs are pretty much the same. You can see the legs here. Feet are very, very similar. Okay. So a very good hybrid of the original toy and the legacy one. All right, so let's have a look at Ravage. Okay, now Ravage is much different than the original as far as transformation, and I think they had to do that because there's no way they can copy this. I mean, for me personally, I like the shape of the head of this one better, but I mean, they've done a pretty good job here. These parts do come off just like they do on this one here. Okay, but the transformation is a little bit different. Whereas this here, the original toy, you just pop these off. And I can see why they changed it because there's no way they can have, I don't think they can do the parts thin enough to be able to do this type of transformation. So these legs, sorry, this is very stiff. So these legs kind of bend in, the feet kind of go, I think these go in first and these go in after. Very, very stiff. I may have had those reversed. Yeah, I have that reversed. So these go in first and then these go in second. So with you can see the complexity of how to transform it with these very thin joints here. So they changed it a little bit. This is more similar to the legacy version of Ravage when it transforms. So these things come off. Oops, you can see I pulled this thing out of somewhere. I have to figure out where that goes. This goes here. So that goes here. Pull that in. Okay, so the head comes back and the tail goes like that. And the whole body kind of rotates out like this. Okay, and then we just kind of finesse the feet now. So they kind of fold in on each other, similar to that. And let's fill that in, fold that in, and then we'll fold this in. Oops, I'm knocking stuff all over the place. So let's, again, Lego, very not as sturdy as set plastic. And unfortunately, looking through the camera lens, very hard for me to kind of see what I'm doing to put this back together. But yeah, you can see a little bit of challenges getting the parts apart there without knocking down the transformer. So, or knocking down some parts of the transformer. So we'll just pop that back in. Okay, so this too will also fit into the chest plate as well. Very similar as Laserbeak. But you can see I don't love the cassette form as much for Ravage. It doesn't look as nice. But the dog form or panther form, whatever you want to call it, looks really cool. So we'll just transform that back because I actually prefer it in this form much, much more than the other. Well, so yeah, unfortunately, again, if you can see how flimsy the Lego is in transforming. And yeah, you can imagine if they tried to even do anything close to the original transformation of the toy, it would probably not work out very well, just because of the fact that, yeah, the it would even be more flimsy. Okay, so let's finish that up. So yes, we're just gonna go like that. You can see the dog form there, and then we get his nacelles and put them back. Oops, where are they gone? I'm mixing them up here. Yeah, here we go. We're going to put these back on top of here, and we have Ravage back. And so I'm just going to leave Ravage in this mode for the remainder, just because I love it better in this mode than the actual cassette form. So let's look at Soundwave himself. Now, Soundwave, let's look at all the features of Soundwave. It comes, obviously, it does transform, and it comes with the two guns that he has there, the rocket booster on his shoulder, and it comes with the little rocket launcher he keeps in his hand. We already showed you that this button does eject properly, so we can pop that out. We can pop the cassette out of there. Now, special feature: if you had the Lego Harry Potter sorting hat, you saw the first attempt of using a special recording device in there. So this one, or playing back device, I should say, and it actually has the original voice actor for Soundwave and doing different voices. So let's press it. I don't even know how many combinations it has, but it has many. So. So you can see, I mean, we just did about a minute of those of those audios, and he's got a lot of different versions. We played it several times, and probably maybe three phases repeated. Otherwise, they're all kind of new. So there's a lot going on as far as the audio. So the playability of this thing is really, really cool. Not only does it transform, not only is it like a giant Lego version of Soundwave, but it has all the voice as well of the Frank Welker as Soundwave there. So you can see he turns his head very well. Doesn't that this will not have as much mobility as like the Hasbro toys that they create now. So his arms do move, pivot out, but that's as wide as the shoulders will go. And he does have good arm extension that way. The fingers do move. The legs do ratchet a bit, but not very well. So we do have a little bit of bend there. I don't think it rolls this way very well, not very well. So I'm not gonna play with it too bad there. It's got some posability, but if you're looking for the posability of your Soundwave Transformers, it's not gonna be there. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you how to transform Soundwave here. I'm going to pull the original toy out. It is a little bit different than the original toy. So I'm not going to transform the original toy because it's much different. Okay, so we're going to pop off the cannons. I'm going to take this out of his hand. So you can see that it actually doesn't go into his hand. There's a little slot right there that it slides into. And we're actually going to pull that out so that we can do something with that afterwards. Okay, now as far as the head, we start with that. We're going to pull, there's a little compartment here. We're going to pull that back. Oops. And you see I pulled it out too much. You can see where it connects to here. Again, Lego, you got to be more gentle with it. And so I don't think I'm going to play around with it too much after this video, only because it's a lot more fragile than any of your other Transformers. I promise you that. So we're going to flip the head in. And I think I have to turn the head too in order for it to pop in there properly. Okay, so there we got the head combined or in there. All right, so now we're going to get the hands turned around. So we're going to flip the shoulder ratchet back here, and this ratchet going back there. And we're going to straighten the arms, and the hands do have to fold in. There, I'll close the fists, and we're going to close the arms up here. Oops. Ah, there we go. Push that up. Okay, so that part's done. This doesn't really lock into anything until we get the legs up, okay? So the legs are the tricky part because we got to do a couple bends with them. So we are going to ratchet them up, and then we're going to, in the back here, there's this part that lifts up and this foot that kind of folds in there, and this kind of folds in like that. So I'll try to do that again this way. Ooh. So we just got to fold this foot down here, and this folds up when you have the foot down. But when we're transforming it into the cassette player, we're going to pull that down and pull that in like that. Okay, so that's what it looks like in the front. And then we're going to basically ratchet this in like that and fold that in like so. Okay, and then in the back, it's a little tricky because it's quite large. That's when we lock in the arm part or the shoulder part into the arm there. And so this part won't move afterwards. So we're going to do the exact same thing with the other foot. So we're going to push this in like that, and we're going to pull this part down here. We're going to, oops. So you can see how flimsy the joint connectors are. So that just popped out because I was holding it up for the video. So let me see how this will go back in. Looks like we got to pop it in like this. And I'm going to snap the joint in carefully. All right, very tricky. So I had to put it on a table to get it snapped in because I couldn't do it in the air. So we have it like this now. And now we're going to bend this leg in. And we're going to fold that in like that. Okay. And then we're going to lock in the back part there so this thing doesn't move anymore. Get the arm back down there. Okay, so we just have a couple more things to do. I gotta keep this kind of low to the ground because I don't want to fall apart again. So yeah, that's my main. If I have a complaint about this Soundwave toy, is the how difficult or how tricky it is to keep it from falling apart. It looks like you can see one of the fingers broke off here. Figure out which finger it came off of. Okay, there it is. So fortunately it is Lego, so it's easy to put back in, but it's a pain in the ass when it falls apart, as you can tell. And just that part is just annoying. Okay, so there we go there. Now these parts here, we're going to take the gun off of that. I think this part just supposed to slide off. That part's supposed to slide off. All right, and these parts just kind of sit into here. I have this right way. I think this might be upside down. No, I had it right way. So you just put that part in there, and then we just basically have to put the cannon right over here, where there's a little slot right in there. I don't know if it's supposed to go this way or that way, but let's put this. There we go. We just basically have to slide it underneath this part here and then just lock it in there. And that's more or less it. If you want, they have this kind of hand thing here, so you can kind of slide it back into the hand groove if you wish. There's a spot for that so you don't lose it. But that, my friends, is more or less the transformation of the Soundwave toy. You can see that it's okay. It's, fairly good on the front. Looks pretty good. The back is kind of a little of a mess. The hands you can't really cover up. And these joints here, I mean, they're a little bit challenging to lock into place, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead. And again, you can press that. You can hit the eject button and pop that sucker out again. And so that, my friends, is Soundwave. So I'm going to go ahead and transform my Laserbeak back quickly. We're going to flip that head out, pull these back out, and we are going to pop in the cannons here and here. Okay, very good. All right, so we got those out there. Let's go ahead and transform Soundwave back. And so first things first, we're going to flip these things in. Good. We're going to pop off the cannons here. There's that one. Oh, looks like this thing is rolling on me. And then we're going to pop off this cannon here. Okay. We'll take off this little bit there. And we can pop this part out there. So now we have all the weapons off. I'm going to pop this back into here so we don't lose it. And pop this into here so it's ready to go. All right, so now we're going to transform this back into, so we're going to work on the legs first. So I'm going to do this on down low because you saw the issues I had when doing it up high. We're losing parts. So again, we're going to loosen that part off. You can see this thing detaches very easily. I barely touched it and detaches very easily. There's little slots here where it attaches back on. So again, there is challenges to this toy because again, it's Lego. It doesn't, my biggest complaint is it doesn't hold together very well at all. So let's get that going. And we got that foot there. And then let's get the feet up. We're going to turn this foot around. We're going to put this foot down all the way. Okay, now we're going to do the other foot carefully. We got to release the back part there. Flip this down. This down. And flip that. Turn this around. And then we're going to bring this part back up and flip this foot down. Okay, so at least we got some stability in the feet now again. Okay, now we're going to work on the arms. So let me just move the camera up a bit. So for the arms, we're just basically going to ratchet them this way. And then we're going to move the hand out back into position so it's usable there. You could put the cannon in there as well as you wanted to. Again, there's a little slot that this matches into. We're going to bring the hands out again. And so we got Soundwave more or less done other than the head. Let's make sure the feet are stable because we definitely don't want this falling down. All right, we're going to put the rocket back in. Again, this thing goes into this little slot right there. And then let's get the head out. So we're going to fold this piece down here. Okay, and then we're going to lift the head up and turn the head around and close that back down. So now we have Soundwave in his robot form, which is the form that I prefer him in. He just looks better that way. And that's the same with the original toy. I do prefer him standing in robot form. He definitely looks cool in his cassette recorder, but you know, he always looks, I find the Transformers almost always look better in their robot forms. Now, I forgot to mention, you do have the option of changing out the eyes. So Soundwave, I chose the red eyes, but you could use the yellow eyes if you wanted with these two pieces here. I'm not going to change it, but you basically take the faceplate off and pull the eyes out and put these on instead if you chose to do it that way. Now, since this is the third release, we'll just kind of have a quick look at how Soundwave compares to his counterparts. I just going to plop his cannon back onto his shoulder. You can see there's the 2x3, the 6 brick set, 6 piece there, and then we're going to put this back on top, and there we go. There's Soundwave there. Okay, so let's look at last year's release, which is Bumblebee. So we'll just move Soundwave a little bit this way. And you can see Bumblebee is a lot shorter than Soundwave, as he should be. Like the original Soundwave was a lot shorter. Original Bumblebee is always like the mini bot, so he's a lot shorter than Optimus. He's a lot shorter than a lot of the Transformers. He's definitely bigger than the cassettes, which makes sense. But yeah, so size, well, actually, it pairs. I mean, the size wise comparison is quite good there. And then when we look at Optimus, Optimus is definitely bigger and taller than Soundwave. So let's pop them next door here. And let's just move these a little bit more this way. And you can see that Soundwave is a little bit shorter than Optimus, as he usually is portrayed in the cartoon as well. So that's them side by side and by side. So you can see that, yeah, even in Lego, they scaled pretty good, pretty well indeed. So yeah, as far as the Lego build, I think Soundwave stands up there with the two. I think you can't say more about the Optimus. Optimus was awesome, and that's why they were decided to continue with Bumblebee and Soundwave. I think of the three, Bumblebee is my least favorite, and I don't know. I kind of have to say, as far as the look and the clean look of Soundwave, I think Soundwave is a little bit better than Optimus, and the fact that it has the voice of Soundwave. Um, that just puts it over the top. But I do love the Optimus Transformer as well. Um, as I said, the main hiccup of Soundwave, it is fairly flimsy when you're transforming it. You have to be very, very careful of the parts breaking off, or you have to reassemble them again. So just be careful with that. Even the cassettes, these joints, they do come off. So and it is Lego. I mean, there's not there. It's part of the deal when you're using Lego. When you're pulling things off and putting things back on and moving things around, pieces can come off. And fortunately, as Lego, it's easy to put back in as long as you know where it came from. So that is a look at Soundwave, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. It is. I've been when I saw they were making a Soundwave, I was like, I gotta get that. And so I know that I'm probably a little bit later in the game than some people, but I personally purchased these Transformers and all my collectibles out of my own pocket. And so it's not like I get a preview of any of these Transformers before they release. And so this is a real review. I do like it. I did pay. I'm pretty sure I paid full price for this. It wasn't on discount. They did have a bonus premium if you bought a certain amount of Transformers, so I got some freebies with it. But yeah, I did pay full price for that. And I may have used some Lego points. I cannot remember, but I just had to have Soundwave. So guys, if you love Transformers like I do, and you like Lego like I do, I think you gotta have Soundwave on your collection, whether or not you want to pay full price for it or wait for a sale. Because Bumblebee actually did go on sale last year, so and Optimus has been on sale as well in the past. So Soundwave might go on sale during Black Friday. You just never know. So keep an eye out for that. If you ever see it on sale and it's on your possibly buy list, it is a really fun toy. And the fact that it does have this voice recording thing, yeah, Decepticons are awesome, and so is this Lego. Guys, this is Chucky from Collecting for Fun. Thanks so much for watching. Please support the channel if you can. All I'm asking is just hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends who also love Transformers and Lego. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye.